Today is National Back Care Day, and chiropractors across the nation are recommending early treatment of back complaints. I must admit, I go to a chiropractor regularly, and I find him tremendous. And he's going to start treatment next week. According to my next guest, there's a great deal of misunderstanding about back pain, its causes and its treatment. Physiologist Dr. David Smith is a renowned lecturer on anatomy and physiology, so please welcome him, Dr. David Smith. Welcome back, David.
Thanks very much, Bert.
Why your personal concern?
A friend of mine said just recently, my back's gone out, I've probably slipped a disc, I better go to the chiropractor again. And my blood boiled. I just felt I had to say something about some of the myths and fallacies that are floating around about what your back can and can't do. Backs can't go out, discs can't slip, and I just sort of wanted to talk this through and explain why this is the case.
Sure, please do.
Here I have a spine, a human spine, a portion of, and you'll see that the actual vertebrae here, these little things here, very strongly, solidly built. These little cork models in the middle here are representing the discs, which of course in the upright position cushion the load that's on this when you walk and move and jump and whatever. These things are woven into the spine in a kind of meshwork of incredibly strong fibres, like the fibres in a radial tyre. The disc simply cannot slip out. In fact, if a disc slipped out the way it's supposed to do in popular mythology, you'd be a paraplegic. I mean, you'd literally rupture the nerve cord in there.
Yeah, well, what about, by the way, bless you, madam. Lady had a big sneeze in the audience there. What about doctors when they say you've got a slipped disc?
It's a shorthand term that doesn't mean very much, basically. It's one of those areas. Chiropractic and medicine have had some problems over the years because of, faulty terms, inaccurate terms that are used, and people get the wrong idea of what's really going on. What happens when you get a bad back, very simply, is that in almost all cases there'll be some local irritation in some region here. You know, the back does an enormous amount of hard work, and these little bones eventually wear out and they get a bit tired and they get little rough edges on them. They can cause local irritation, and your back does a very sneaky trick. It locks itself up. The muscles around that area contract for a very long period of time. And that's really designed to immobilise the joint while it has a chance to recover.
David, as I mentioned...
That hurts.
Yeah, I go to a chiropractor regularly and have done for, I guess, 15, 16 years now, and this man is renowned as being one of the best in Australia, one of the leading chiropractors in the world.
Sure.
And, I mean, he's not done any damage to me that I know of.
No, I think...
And I feel better for having gone there.
Sure. I think chiropractic has undergone a revolution in about the last 10 or 15 years. They've really taken great care to get rid of some of the dirty linen that was floating around from the bad old days when it was assumed that, or it was argued, that chiropractic could cure all of your bodily ills. No responsible chiropractor now says that. What they're really saying is that by careful manipulation of regions of your spine, you can actually get to the source of some of the problems of back pain and joint inflammation and so on.
Is it cure or relief they can offer?
Well, no one really knows. See, the problem is the chiropractic actually operates on the principle that there's a kind of a local lesion which no one's been able to see or find. They call it a subluxation, a very strange word. This subluxation has never been actually anatomically identified, but it actually reflects a sort of a region of your spine which is just not working properly for some reason. So you don't actually cure it, you really are treating the symptoms, just like a massage. It's a very elegant form of refined massage, if you like.
For those many people who go to chiropractors, I mean, there's nothing dangerous in going to one, is there?
There's not, provided you're... I think chiropractors themselves certainly agree these days that you should, if you have a problem that seems to be more than just back pain, you really should be seeking medical attention in conjunction with the chiropractic.
Sure. Bring on your partner. Bring on David's little skeleton there. And look at the tie around the neck. That's Crystal's little sense of humour there. Yeah. One of my ties too, I notice. A lot of people ask me wherever I go, every day of my life, whatever happened to Don. What about just showing us there, particularly? I mean, I think you've covered very briefly, albeit the spine.
I'll just take...
But what about the neck area, David, particularly?
Sure, look, the neck area is very important to us, obviously. It has to do many, many things. It has to be able to rotate and bend and, all that. Again, there's single vertebrae in there. You can see them quite distinctly there. When you touch your back, people often have the misapprehension that you're actually touching the discs or able to feel the discs and feel if they're misplaced. You can't. If you look at this skeleton down here, you can see these huge bony protuberances coming off the back.
Bony...
protuberances. Nice word, isn't it?
Yes.
That's a technical term.
Yeah. Protruding pieces.
Yeah, those little protruding pieces here, and that's where the back muscles attach themselves. So when you rub someone's back, down here, give them a nice massage in these muscle areas here, you're not actually anywhere near the actual discs themselves. They're a long way further down, deep inside. And so you can't actually feel the discs from the outside. There's just too much muscle and connective tissue in the way.
Well, it's fascinating. I mean, the ongoing, some years ago, I mean, chiropractors, the medical people, just people like yourself, just declared that they were not on in any shape or form. But slowly but surely, you guys seem to be meeting.
I think that's certainly what's been happening, and it's an active thing on both
a good thing
on the part of both camps. Yeah, it's ultimately good for people's health.
Thanks, David.
Pleasure. Thanks,
Dr. David Smith, ladies and gentlemen.